Okay, so AIG Insurance has partnered up with TG Caher and the LGFA to help showcase the teams of the 2020 All-Ireland Ladies Football Championships and the AIG Goal of the Year competition. The award show is on TG Caher this Sunday at 7:15. Armagh's Aimee Mackin is nominated for both Player of the Year and Goal of the Year, and I'm delighted to say she is with us now. Aimee, how are you getting on?
I'm not too bad. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Let's get straight to that goal, because for people who aren't sure, first of all, which goal it is, it's the one with the dummy hop, the Dublin player left on the ground, and then the ball is smashed to the roof of the net with the outside of your left foot, I think it's fair to say. Did you realise what a cracker it was as soon as you hit it?
No, not really until afterwards, and I seen Twitter. But obviously, I wish the game ended with us winning, but it didn't. But yeah, I suppose the goal was a nice finish for me. It's something that I work on in training, so it was just sort of instinctive when it happened. I knew I had to take the chance.
Did Twitter go totally crazy afterwards?
I had a good few notifications.
Because I remember we showed the clip on our show on the Monday morning after it happened, and we tweeted it out. And then one of our American contributors who talks basketball with us, Ryan Jones, tweeted it off his account. And then all of a sudden you had a load of Americans replying to it saying, "This is amazing. What is this sport?" And I think you've done a service for the sport as much as anything else.
Well, at least that's something.
People really commented on the combination of skills that were involved. Like, for people who weren't familiar with the sport, they were like, "Oh, they managed to bring so many different skills to the fore here." And that was the beauty of it. It was like when that James Carr goal went viral for Mayo the previous year. Just all these different things at play. He ran down the wing, destroyed a load of men who were trying to get the ball off him, and then it was a beautiful finish. It was kind of the same with you. It was the fact that you managed to get around an opponent, and also the finish was sublime as well. You kind of needed everything in your locker.
Yeah, and I suppose as a forward, when we get them opportunities, we have to take them. And it was a period in the game where we needed a goal probably, and we probably should have pushed on, but unfortunately we didn't. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice goal to get, and hopefully many more to come.
Do you always back yourself in situations like that, even if it's 2 or 3 players between you and the goal?
Yeah, I think you have to as a forward. Obviously you have to read the situation and know whether you're going to get into that space or not. But you work in that sort of thing in training, and I come up against strong defenders in training, so it's always tough when we're sort of used to that kind of environment. So it's just all about practicing, and when the opportunity comes, you have to take it.
It does seem that there is more of an appreciation maybe from coaches at the moment that the take your points and the goals will come mantra isn't necessarily true all the time.
Not necessarily. I suppose there's probably different periods in the game when I probably would have just maybe slotted that over the bar. But it was just at a period of a game where, as I say, I knew we needed something, maybe a little spark or something. So I had to go for it, and as I say, it was just all instinct, really.
Was 2020 your best goal scoring season? Just focusing on goals alone now.
I think it probably was. It's not something I think too much about, so I don't count them up every year. I think maybe that's for other people to talk about, but it probably was. I'm not too sure.
Because the other game that stands out outside of the Armagh jersey obviously was after your comeback for the club and scoring 8 goals against Crossmaglen in a half of football, I think that was.
Yeah, I think I played 30 minutes, so that's all I was allowed. That was, I think, my second game back after my injury, so it was just that's all I was given was 30 minutes. But again, it was a lot of work was done for me. I just had to put the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, as long as we got the win, I wasn't too worried about what I scored.
It does sound a tad modest, and you do wonder what might have happened had he been left on for longer than half an hour.
I mightn't have scored that much if it was on for the hour, so who knows.
I think that they're still trying to figure out whether or not it's the fastest hat-trick in Armagh club football. I think it was 1 minute and 45 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that gets cleared up.
You know more than me.
Yeah, maybe you go one better this season. Just on the Dublin game that we've been speaking about, you said obviously it is in the context of disappointment ultimately, I guess. It's an All-Ireland semi-final. How did you take that defeat to Dublin? Because they are clearly the standard bearers in the sport at the moment, and yet there is a sense that you provided something that caused them a lot of trouble.
Yeah, obviously Dublin have set the standards so high over the last few years, and they're continuing to set the standards higher. So it's up to us maybe to try and get as close as we can to them. And I think the game itself, we just went in with no fear, and we just knew we had to bring our game and try our best. They probably were that wee bit better than us on the day and a wee bit more experienced, but it's something that we'll take into next year, and hopefully that can help drive us on and improve. But it's exciting, I suppose, for us in Armagh, because we know there's not a lot of talent. But I think it's up to us now what we sort of do with it and how we push on.
That experience, I presume, is a key component. This was your first semi-final since 2015. What did you learn from the experience?
I'd say just the composure of Dublin in the second half, how they steadied the game and how they maybe controlled it that wee bit better than us, is something that we can look at and try to put into our own game. But as I say, you can only learn from games like that. And when you're up against the best, obviously it was disappointing at the time because we wanted to reach an All-Ireland final. But yeah, you just have to learn from it. And after it, we were lucky enough to have an Ulster final then to look forward to and move on. So it was good to finish on a high.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess as well, when you reflect on 2020, a lot of people will, even sports people who had good years, would probably think of it as a little bit of a disappointment. I guess from your perspective, it went as good as it possibly could have gone just on a personal level because of that injury, giving yourself that extra few months to actually get back. Because you probably thought going into 2020, you might not kick a ball for Armagh, but as it turned out, you were there for the full season.
Yeah, it was sort of funny because prior to the lockdown and restrictions, I was going to the league games and just watching, obviously, from the sideline. And then when everything happened, it was sort of like I might have a shout here at playing the championship, because at that point of the year, I didn't know what way I was going to return and when I was going to return. But I suppose the lockdown probably did benefit me. It gave me a wee bit more time, and it gave me then a target to where I wanted to get to and when I wanted to get there.
Because it was your cruciate in 2019 you did.
Yeah.
That game, that wasn't the game against Cork, right?
Yeah, that was against Cork. We beat Cork that day, actually. So it was a mixed emotions kind of day. Obviously, I was delighted for the win, but then to get the injury, it wasn't too nice.
How long does it take to get back to a place where you feel that you're able to kick a ball again, that you're able to run again? Because I'd imagine the mental battle that is, as well as the physical battle of doing your cruciate in such a big game against Cork as well the previous summer, must have been a massive battle for you.
Yeah, and I sort of had a wee bit of time before I got my surgery, but straight after the surgery, I wasn't thinking too much about my return. I didn't really focus on it at all. Actually, I was probably just focused on how I was going to walk properly and getting my movement back in my leg. And it was I just took each step as I came. I didn't look too far ahead until when I got onto the pitch. Then that's when I started to look ahead to my return. And before that, yeah, it was just getting your head wrapped around how you were going to do it and taking advice from everyone and just learning. I had to really educate myself as much as I could, and just to set up a process of how I was going to overcome the injury.
What helped you on that? What informed that process?
Well, my family definitely helped me. They were here most of the time when I was doing what I needed to do. Everyone around me just sort of helped me, and you need people around you. Obviously yourself, I told myself what I needed to do, and I just sort of got on with it, really. I didn't think too much about it. Obviously when I got the news, it wasn't a nice couple of days, but from then on in, I just sort of took it as it came and knew I just had to put in the work to get where I wanted to be.
It's really interesting because a lot of people suffer from a cruciate and then maybe don't come back to the player that they were. And that's why I was asking about, is this your best goal scoring season that we saw last year? You seem to be one of the few people who's come back and put in her best season after such a terrible injury.
Yeah, and it's strange as well because you hear them stories of people not returning, and you sort of maybe there's a few times you have them thoughts of what way you're going to return. Are you going to be the same player? Are you going to be worse? So I think I sort of didn't let myself get carried away with that sort of thing. I just knew what way I was going to control it, and if I controlled what I done with the work and put it in, I knew I'd get there. But yeah, I probably surprised myself then when I came back the season that I had.
Do you, as a team, have a singular ambition now for 2021, given the progress that you've had over the past couple of years?
Well, I think every year, I'm not sure if the National League's going ahead, but every year you go into the league, you want to win it. It's the same with every championship you're in. When you're in the Ulster Championship, you want to win it. And when you go into the All-Ireland, you want to win it. So every year we just take it as it comes, each game as it comes. But we've set our standards high now last year, and we just need to make sure we keep pushing at them and keep improving.
How do you keep ticking over given the current restrictions? Like, I'm not sure if you're living with your sister and your brothers. So that, I guess that's a bit of an advantage then, that you've got a few other footballers in the house.
Yeah, so there's 4 of us, and obviously it's nice to have Blaine here as well, because it's a wee bit easier to motivate each other to get up and do the training. But yeah, we programs sent out, and we just keep ticking them off, and hopefully it'll be sooner now that we're back on the pitch and make it a wee bit easier for us.
What does the program involve at the moment? Is it mostly fitness work, or how does it look?
A couple of gym sessions a week. We're lucky enough to have a bit of a gym set up at the side of our house in a wee shed. So gym sessions and 2 running programs at the minute. So it's sort of hard when you don't know what you're aiming towards or when you're aiming towards it. But we just keep having to do what we have to do just to get in the best shape going into the season ahead whenever it comes around.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, just a reminder that AIG Insurance has partnered up with TG Cahir and the LGFA to help showcase the teams of the 2020 All-Ireland Ladies Football Championships and the AIG Goal of the Competition. The award show is on TG Cahir this Saturday at 7:15. You've been listening to Aimee Mackin, and she is nominated for both Player of the Year and Goal of the Year. Aimee, thanks a million.
No problem at all. Thank you.